Here we are, Tuesday morning, or the end of Monday night, and they put more temporary speed humps in here. I guess they're doing some construction of some kind here at the airport. The night was pretty steady till about midnight, and then it slowed down considerably. I've been to sleep about 4 times in between calls, and now, as you can see, I had one coming out to the airport. It's now taxi vlog 410. It's also 4:53 in the morning, and it's a little bit overcast. I don't think it'll burn off. Yeah. So much for Monday. Nothing really memorable happened. I just worked and slept and worked and slept, and the car's running good. The heater works because it's chilly this morning. It's 10 degrees. Who would have thought the 14th of June would have 10 degrees at 5 in the morning? But yeah, at night it cooled off a lot, and it rained a little bit. As you can see, the road's a little wet. I don't think it's going to rain anymore. Well, not much else to say except that it was a relatively successful night, and I'll talk to you sooner, maybe 24 hours from now. Here we are, Tuesday night, or should I say Wednesday morning at approximately 2:46 a.m. Wednesday morning. The Tuesday night was going along pretty well. It was steady till about midnight, and then it got quiet. That's okay. I was, even in between that, before midnight, between calls, it was a little busy, and then when it got quiet in between calls, I was watching movies on my phone, and I guess I'm tired now. Green light. So I was watching movies on my phone, and I fell asleep a couple times. And the last time I fell asleep really, really well, I suppose. And then I got called to a storefront somewhere to pick up this guy who said, "Wouldn't you know it, I was driving down the road and dropped a cigarette in my lap and swerved, and the police saw me, so I slowed down and he stopped me, and I got suspended." I said, "Well, there's got to be more to the story than that, because if you just got suspended for having dropped a cigarette in your lap, something doesn't make sense." He said, "Oh, I blew over." "Oh, yeah. So for 3 months, you got your suspension for 3 months because you blew over." So I said, "Well, usually if I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to stay home." And he said, "Yeah, well, that's where I was. I was at home. Then a friend said, 'I need your help.'" And I told him, "Well, last time a friend called me and said, 'I need your help,' I said, 'I can't come. I've had a couple drinks.'" I said, and you know what? It turns out my friend didn't need my help after all. He was just panicking because of the situation at the moment, where my help would have been maybe useful, but in the end, it wasn't necessary. And so he says, well, I got to go in to this store here. So it was a little convenience store. He went in the store. He said, I got to get me some more cigarettes. And when he went out of the car, he left a book behind. It was a thick book with a blue and yellow jacket, I guess you'd call it. It was a hardcover book. And it said Alcoholics Anonymous. And when he got back in the car, I said, Alcoholics Anonymous? Well, that's ironic. He said, yeah, the police officer said, I better bring this book with me. And the book had been in the back seat, apparently. I said, so Alcoholics Anonymous, and you're driving after you had a couple drinks. He says, yeah, Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. Oh, good for you. Well, I dropped him off. And then I was just heading back towards where I usually like to sit. And I got called to pick someone else up. I picked this guy up, and he says, I got to meet my friend at the corner of, gives me a street corner. I said, okay, we'll go find your friend. And there she was, a skinny girl hiding behind a pole. Well, we could barely see her, but he could just make out that she was swinging her purse back and forth. And then when she got in, they were trying to decide where to go. And he says something, you got a place? She says, yeah, I got a place. And then she told me where that place was. I go, oh, well, she's not really, she's in business. She's hooking. Oh, great. So he called her up and said, yeah, I want to meet you. And she said, okay, let's go. And instead of going to her place, they went to another place, if that makes any sense at all. So we continue on here. Almost 3 in the morning on a relatively quiet Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And maybe we'll have some more stories to tell at the very end of the night or tomorrow latest. Of course, you realize that sometimes things just work out in your favor. And I don't know what they're making here. It's all under construction and speed hump and crap. And and I still got 2 hours left to go. It's 3:47 right now. So I've still got 2 hours and 13 minutes. Well, it'll take me 20 minutes to go back into town, but still, a couple hours left to go, and I've had to run to the airport. That makes 2 mornings in a row. Wow. That's really good. I hope this trend can continue. Then I'll have a stupendous week. I'm really happy about all of it right now. Yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow, I guess. What could happen in 2 hours? Okay. It's now 20 to 4 in the morning on Wednesday night, so Thursday morning. It's been uneventful. It's been pretty quiet. It's been pretty relaxed. Even so, I was tired. I slept in till about 6:30 last night. And usually 6:30 is when I'm at work. So I quickly woke up, threw something in the microwave, ate it, got ready, came to work. I was at work by 8 last night. And, you know, I got a few calls before midnight. I broke even around 1 o'clock or a little earlier. And since then, it's been kind of quiet out here. It seems like, okay, I got my expenses on, but it's time to get some profits, and the profits are not happening quite so much. I just got sent to go pick someone up, and I picked him up, and he and his friend both gave me an address to go to. And he asked me, where are we going now? And I said, well, you did say 14, the address. He said, no, forget that bullshit. You're taking me to this place instead. He gave me another address. I said, yeah, okay, you sure about that? He says, of course I'm sure. That's where I want to go. I said, okay. Now, he was, by his own admission, quite drunk. Now, the guy told me to call his friend on the phone and say that he's being a problem. And I said, well, who's paying for this ride anyway? And he says, I am. I said, okay, fine. You're paying for it. We go where you want to go. And he says, yes, and I'm quite drunk. And I said, well, that's your business. And then we took him into town where his vehicle was parked. Now, I'm not going to claim a moral high ground of any kind. I only take my customer where my customer wants to go. Be they drunk or sober or whatever, as long as they're paying, I take them where they want to go. What they do there is their business. So I take him there. That's where he wants to go. I take him there. Dropped him off at his car. And he said, you can call my friend and say that this is a problem. I said, no, I'm not going to talk to your friend. I'm not going to call your friend. He says, well, you can call the police on me because I'm getting into my car. I said, no, I didn't see you get into no car. I just took you to the address you wanted to go to. That's all I saw. What you did there was your business, not mine. And you paid for the ride. I did my job. That's it. That's all. That's the whole thing. If you were responsible enough to say, you're going home, I take you home. But you wanted to come here, that's up to you. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be your policeman. I'm not going to be your keeper. Besides, he was a pretty old guy. He must have been over 60. And that's up to him. If he wants to drive home drinking, that's fine. If he gets stopped by the police, that's his problem, not mine. I'm not going to call the police on him. Oh, now I'm getting a call. And it's to a hotel. Oh, it's staff at the hotel. Oh, well. At least it's something. But yeah, I took that guy where he wanted to go. That's all. It's not my business to be your keeper and your policeman. My job is just to drive and to take you there. What you do there, like I said before, is your business, not mine. If you want to get into your car and drive it into a telephone pole, go right ahead. Because I did my job, I took you where you want to go. You paid me. That's it. My job is done. Well, actually, there is no traffic out tonight. Very little. It's been a quiet night. So his chances, as long as he keeps it between the lines, takes his time to go home, that's up to him. Dealing with drunks. It's always something. Well, if anything really memorable happens in the next couple hours, like it didn't yesterday, I went to the airport and between 4 and 6 in the morning, I only had one other fare, and that was at the very end. If nothing happens between now and 6, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, right here is something memorable. This is the ferry dock at Swartz Bay, and that's where the ferries, well, this is like the parking lot for the ferries. There is a ferry on the other side of all that there, but I just dropped off for $58.95. Nice way to end the night, and I got a $20 tip on top of that $58.95. So that's just great, just great, just superb, just perfect, just the way I like it. So now that I've done this trip to the ferries, it was a guy who's an American citizen, but he's a permanent resident here in Canada, and he has to get his paperwork renewed for to get his passport so that he can go stateside and take care of business down there. But he's a permanent resident in Canada, so he has to go to the consulate in Vancouver to get his paperwork, because he lost it or something. I really don't know how that works. Anyway, looks like it's going to be a beautiful morning. The temperature is climbing. It was a cold night. So this is the end of the highway, basically. I'm heading back to Victoria, and I'm going to wash the car. And so far this week, 2 airports in a row and 1 ride to the ferry. I wonder if we can keep this these good mornings up, because the mornings are pretty slow until I get that long fare, and that's what's saving my week. It's all Interac, so there's going to be a great big bank deposit at the end of the week when I get a check for doing the Interac. So there's the memorable part. 2 more nights to go. Talk to you sooner. It's Friday morning. It is the what's the date? The 17th of June, something like that. And it's 4:30 in the morning on Friday. The night was mostly on the slower side. And what's this truck doing here? He's trying to back into his... I don't know what he's doing. It was a long, slow night. And I've only done about 12 trips. But a lot of them were in the $20 range. So I ended up doing okay. Even though there were long gaps in between. I think I watched 3 old movies on top of all the YouTube videos that I was subscribed to that came up, yesterday. And I'm feeling pretty good. Tired though. It's been a week of running around. I had to get my driver's license medical on Monday. And so I got that done. And then I had to go on Tuesday morning and get my eyes tested. And then when I was getting the form to give to the optician or ophthalmologist, I realized that there was another form that I should have given my doctor to fill on Monday. So now I have to go make another appointment with the doctor to get that form filled out. It's just one page and it's about diabetic stuff. Now, if he fills it in and fills it in properly, I might be excused from having to go and get a physical every year. All he has to do is say that, well, he knows my numbers are great. My numbers for blood sugar and average blood sugar content are great now. They're under fabulous control, and because of this, I might be excused from having to do a driver's medical for the next 5 years, and that would be great. Meanwhile, so I got into a panic. I got stressed because I didn't take that stupid form in. What had happened is we were going through the stack of forms. Now the longer pages are for the doctor to fill in, and then the next page was for the optometrist or ophthalmologist to fill in, and then the one after that was for the doctor to fill in. So the doctor took one look at the one for the ophthalmologist. He says, "Well, I can't do this. This is you got to go to an eye doctor for this." I said, "Yeah, that's okay. I already got an appointment." So, and then he gave me the stack of papers back, and had he lifted that paper up, he would have seen the next one to do. Or had I looked through them before going to the doctor's office, I would have known that he would have had to fill that one out too. It's just a stupid little form, but I have to go back. So anyway, on Thursday, I also had to get my chief's permit, which is a permit from the chief of police that approves me to drive taxi in town, or basically to pick up in town. And then I went down to the passport office, since I was in the direction of downtown anyway, to apply for my passport renewal. So I got all those things done, except that one stupid form that my doctor has to fill out, or that my doctor should have filled out on Monday, had I realized. And then I have to fill out a form too and send it to the government so that they know that I know how to recognize when my blood sugar is low. Yep. Well, that was the story for today. It's been a stressful week of running around, but I've done well business-wise, so I'm not complaining. I got my chief's permit, and I need to they will be mailing my new passport to me. And what else do I need? Yeah, that one stupid form. And you know what the real bad part is that the doctor's office was closed for the second half of the week. So as soon as I found out about this, the doctor's office was closed and won't be open until Monday. And I think I had 45 days from the 15th of May to get this stuff filled in. Failure to do so could mean I get my license revoked, or something equally threatening. Saturday morning. It is now 5:33 a.m. It looks like it's gonna rain a lot today. Look at those dark clouds in the distance and those light clouds beneath them. I was busy tonight. I was very busy tonight. I had a busy, started at 6:30 and did not stop once until 3:30. Just going and going and going. After After 3:30, it slowed down a little bit, but I still had some good fares, and I still had some success. So I have more than 400 on, and if you got more than 400 on any night, that's really good. That's all I can say about that. Yeah. So, was there anything really bizarre? No. No, people were just mostly okay. People were good. People were generous. Nobody was out of control drunk, although there were some people who were a little bit loud. That's to be expected. Most people had something to drink, but they were mostly able to converse effortlessly with me. So it all worked out. It has been a busy week. I am just glad that I'm going home now. Yeah, I had 2 airports, 1 run out to the ferries, and tonight I had an extremely busy night. I did about a sheet and a half, and usually if I do more than a sheet, that's a lot. Got around 11:30 or so, I had a few no loads because we just couldn't keep up with the demand. It was too busy, and that's rare that happens. Anyway, I deserve a restful weekend, and that is what I'm gonna get. So I hope yours is better than mine. Have yourselves a good weekend.